put Brain back into gear. In fact, matchless versus Vincent. Chris Hillman on the booth, matchless 500 sidecar. Up against Graham Martin on Pegasus Reborn. That Vincent, you can hear it cracking. It's on about 75% nitro load. An injected two-cylinder machine up against the methanol burning matchless. That really does sound something, the Vincent. So we're just waiting for Graham to get in the stage. Just having a problem with the box. Looking shifted gear. Gets there the other end first though, 14.03, but 2.5 seconds or so off its normal pace. And for Chris Hillman, first time here at this event with the booth matchless, 16.12 at 65. Hope to see him out on the ex-George Brown Nero later in the day. But, had problems yesterday, but it was only down to the clutch cable, losing the nipple off the end of the cable itself, so that's obviously resoldered on there. And looks like Daniel, our Italian visitor, got problems with his turbo Suzuki. Come a long way to be here at Dragstalgia this weekend. As one of the real old timers comes to the line now, Dave Clee in shotgun. Probably the oldest rider here at Dragstalgia, but by far from being the slowest. Certainly put in quite a few 10-second passes on his supercharged Triumph. He's up against Chris Emmons on Crystal Methanol. He got down into the high 10s yesterday, equaling his best ever times on the bike, so let's see what he can do this time up against Mr. Clee. And the Clee machine just a bit floppy at the bottom end, but no lack of power at the top end. 131 miles an hour from Dave Clee, 11.36, but could hear just that motor didn't want to run at the bottom end. And 11.00 at 126 for Chris Emmons. Now we move to the noisy machine. Martin Wilmot, 500 blown Triumph, certainly capable of low 9-second times. You can hear this bike running on high doses of nitro, the only way he knows how to run it. He'll be up against Ray Law on his double Triumph. Listen to the sound of that Triumph. So in fact, both machines using similar motors. One 500 Triumph in Martin Wilmot's bike, two 500 Triumphs in Ray Law's. In their day they ran similar sorts of times, both did run in the 8-second bracket. I think my money is probably on Martin. If it all holds together, it should be a quick time. Unfortunately, it looks like Ray's got a problem. Solo run for Martin Wilmot. That brings back memories here at SantaPod. Oh, wow, 9.37 seconds. I said that bike could be on for a low 9 if it ran well. 148 miles an hour. A beautiful run there from Martin. Has fired up behind me. John Hobbs back round again, out on the Hobbit. 1700 cc's of blown Westlake twin, and he's up against another twin engine machine, the unblown Norton of Gary Norman. Mr. Hobbs is loaded for bear this weekend. We've already seen him run 8.5 seconds at 160 miles an hour. Gary Norman pleased with the Norton, now starting to go the right way. Not going to be in the same league time-wise, but making good progress with these doubles. I say they take a lot of work on double engine bikes. Well, the Normans have got 2 of them. And considering they're both totally different engine combinations, it's a lot of work just to get them out for Dragstalgia. But so nice to see Gary back on this bike. He did run it in the 70s a couple of times as he lines up against Hobbsy. Watch the start from Hobbs. And you can see John leaning around, keeping the bike straight. And another beautiful run for John Hobbs, 8.65, 159. It shows how John is quick on the lights. This is his first drag race of the year. Yesterday, he cut a 0.05 second light. That is pretty amazing on a double engine machine from someone who doesn't drag race anymore. Gary Norman, 12.43 at 107. And our friend from Italy, Daniel, got his Suzuki refired, so he's on a solo. Put in a 9.9 yesterday. Unfortunately broke the gearbox on his Kawasaki, but he's going to be pleased with that one, 9.65, so he's knocked another 0.3 of a second of his times. 146 miles an hour. With a couple of good friends who race with the NSA. Justin Newell in the Auto Glim lane. He's up against Tim Howell on the BSA. Unfortunately, we won't see the Mick Hand Honda that Justin is rebuilding. Just unable to quite get it finished in time to risk using it, but this bike ran a 9.6 yesterday. Justin on fire this time. Well, not as quick as yesterday. 10.19 at 127. For Tim Howell, 11.72 at 117. But good to see Justin out again. Shame we won't see the Honda, but that Westlake Triumph really putting down some good runs. We move on with the Nostalgia Pro Stocks. And I'm going to hand you back to Darryl.
Thank you very much indeed, Keith. On with Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike.
Andy Lambert, your #1 qualifier. He gets a bye. We are into eliminations, actually, for Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike. Andy Lambert qualified with an 8.97. But in effect, all he needs to do is break the beams under his own power, and he gets the win. But got to get the bike restarted to do that. No onboard starter, so here it comes. So 8.977, his best shot in qualifying. Nearly missed a gear out there, but found it. Go 9:31 at 142. So Andy through into round 2.
So is this an all-run field of Nostalgia Pro Stock bikes then?
Yep.
I guess it is.
Okay, next pair, Sean Biddlecombe and Charlie Draper.
Charlie Draper on the other AML racing machine. These were number 6 and 7 qualify, the two closest together, only a couple of tenths in it. High 10 for Sean, low 11 for Charlie. The number 1 qualifier was in the 8s, which is pretty stout stuff. Well, actually looks like Charlie out in front at the moment.
Yeah, Charlie takes it 10:49.
Quickest run of the weekend by a long way.
Yeah, 10:49, 114 for Charlie, 10:82 at 129.
Nick Pepper and Gary Clark up next. Also, everybody out there, if you're wandering around, we've got round 1 of the Slingshot Shootout coming right after this, I think. The first pair is a doozy. Joe Bond taking on Magnus Larsson. Well, Nick went 9:32 in qualifying. Went 9:34 in round 1. 11:27 for Gary Clark. That was an improvement, actually. Next out, I think, it's Liz Charman. Who's Liz racing?
Richard Peachy.
That's Richard down there. A very good morning to the Yorkshire Massive, around about 1,000 foot this morning. Hope you had a very pleasant evening, and it's not too warm today, although to be honest with you, I think it is actually a bit warmer. We've got less clouds too, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was number 4 qualifier with a 9:45, 11:94 was Richard Peachy. It's really good to have a class like this, actually. That, again, it's another one of those that there's all this stuff sitting around in people's garages, and you're getting out and racing it. Although, to be honest, with classes like ET Bike and stuff like that now, they could anyway.
Yes.
Really. They'd fit in quite a few things.
Liz Throttle's cable's gone. Something's happened on the twist grip.
Well, 10:89 for Richard Peachy, his quickest run of the weekend by about a second, actually. Commiserations to Liz.
Oh, what a shame. Shrug of the shoulders and a big smile. I can see that smile through the visor there.
So Time Blight taking on Dan.
Yep. Take both bikes, just one to get that feedback.
Yeah, and yours didn't, did it?
No, but I think mine was quieter, but just try them both, see which one's better, yeah? So, Time Blight, qualified with a 9:22, runs a 9:16, 137 miles an hour. So, last to go in Nostalgia Pro Stock Bike, Ralph Shipman and Mark Nipper-Stevens. There's Mark on the Kawasaki 750, but no sign of Ralph, so going to be a solo then for Mark. He qualified with a 10.04. I'd like to see a 9 appearing on the board now. Well, that is a good looking, hard, dead straight run. And he well and truly gets a 9 on the board this time around, 9:56 at 138. So well on there to Mark. So as we look round the corner, it's going to get very, very loud indeed in a very short order as well. It's going to be kicking things off with the Slingshot Showdown. Eliminations round 1. We've got Supercharged Outlaws around the corner and also Dragstalgia Cannonball. Goodness me. Going to be very, very entertaining indeed. Here we go then, Slingshot Showdown. Well, day 3 of Dragstalgia 2018. Good morning and welcome. One of the feature classes then, the Slingshot Showdown. Official first day here. Very good morning to you. And good morning to my work colleague Chris and his daughter here today as well. So Chris and Millie, a very good morning to you. Hope you enjoy your day here. Magnus Larsson going for an absolute, well, nearly went for a mile on the burnout there, going way off into the distance. I think there's a lot of aggravation in that as well, because the car hasn't exactly been doing what he wanted it to do all weekend, but perhaps this will be the moment for him to shine and put the '1 qualifier away. But Joe Bond qualified with a 6:51, his quickest ever in this car. Did go quicker with the Nothing Fancy Altered many moons ago, but this is where all the efforts are concentrated now on the Slingshot. The way this works is #1 qualifier meets number 8, 2 meets 7, 3 meets 6 and 4 meets 5. But then we wasn't exactly expecting Magnus Larsson and the Fool's Gold machine to qualify at number 8. Magnus Larsson, the Fool's Gold dragster, he's in the qualifier lane.
So I'm in the pits with slingshot shootout driver Joe Bond. Now obviously the slingshot you see here is how Top Fuel dragsters used to look back in the day. Since they changed their mind for aerodynamics and some say safety reasons. But you started in junior dragster, went into fuel altered, and then have reverted back to the old school front engine dragster. Why is that?
Well, a bit of a mixture of wanting to sort of add another string to my bow, really, and an opportunity we couldn't really sort of miss out on. No. We ran the fuel alters for a good 10 years, ran really well, got a few records at Avon Park and here as well. The class that we were racing in started to sort of dwindle in numbers and things, so we were looking at other options. And it was a chance visit to Norm Wilden up with his workshops and with his twin-engined small block Chevy dragster. He was building a Hemi version of it. This is the sister chassis to it. That was never going to get finished. We sort of struck a deal to get the car, and here it is today.
Been racing it ever since. Now, obviously, yesterday you had a really good run. Please just tell us what time you did and the information about that run.
So we ran a 6:51 at 2:24 yesterday, which, according to sources at the track and in the commentary team and Eurodragster.com, it's apparently the fastest ever run in Europe from a front-engine dragster.
Nice.
The term "faster than Priddle's" been banded around a bit, and if that's the truth, then that's rather humbling.
That is. Well, there you go. Records Dragstalgia 2018. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you very much.
This is all about getting to the top end first.
So Rolf from the family, from up there in Sweden. Rolf came over here last year for this event, and in practice runs on Friday put down his 2 quickest runs, but then unfortunately didn't make it through to race day because he damaged the car. So this is the first time he's actually made eliminations in 2 years of being here. Such a nice guy, such a nice team, and the car has mid-7 seconds form. Chris Manning, I think, was in the 7.8. Was that right, Colin?
It was indeed 7.87.
7.87, and Rolf was slightly quicker than that, so this really is anybody's race.
So now whoever takes this one will be racing Joe Bond in the semi-final. So both cars back to the start line then. So Rolf Nilsson from Sweden. The car is called Hocus Pocus. Chris Manning, the villain. Certainly rocking the team outfits and everything looks really good. So both into pre-stage. Rolf goes in. Chris goes in. Chris away first. Rolf closing him down very, very close at the stripe. Oh, what a race.
Oh, slightly slowed up for Chris Manning. 7.59, quickest run of the weekend. Well done to the Nilsson family. He certainly did. 173. I can't imagine that reaction time was pretty
No, well,
stellar.
the win margin was 0.02 of a second.
So he only just got there in time, basically. Wow, that was pretty close. So it will be Rolf Nilsson taking on your #1 qualifier, Joe Bond. There's around about a second difference in a lap time. However, anything can happen, as we always know. Who's rolling around next, Colin?
It will be... Sir Bob Hawkins.
Yeah, so Bob here of Fire Burnout fame.
Yeah, and should be alongside Steve Johnson.
He's also defending event champion for this weekend. I can't see Stevie's team.
I can't see Steve either. Well, Well, give a big cheer. Chris Manning's team, the villain team, going up there to the top. Well done.
Rather sedate burnout for Bob, by comparison anyway to what he did last night, but he can't be doing that on race day. He went 2.6.7 runs. I know he's been 6.69 with the previous combination in there. This is the car that runs, the only car in the Slingshot Shootout that actually runs on a percentage of nitromethane with the big block, supercharged big block Chevy. Bob had a lot of engine damage, didn't he, at the start of the year?
Oh, yeah.
A real thrash to get it back together and in one piece here for this weekend. Last year it was him and Joe in the final, and it was Bob that took it. Joe had trouble, however, the bomb team and Martin Hannis obviously won it back this year. I think this is the third year of the Slingshot Shootout, isn't it, Colin?
Yeah.
And I think Joe won the first one, Bob won the second. But there's still a few cars out there that want to take it away from them.
Bob Hawkins then, Time Traveller 2, qualified with a 6.72. Set himself on fire with a burnouts last night. Arrow straight run. What's he got for a 6.67?
At 203, nudging up on Joe's from yesterday. So the next pair are two of our Swedish visitors. Kai Carlson in the coal-fire lane in the striptease of that absolutely gorgeously. I don't want to say it's period correct because it is an original 1960s Fueler. And Leif Anderson with the injected car. Normally runs in super comfort, taking the throttle stop and everything off it this weekend to go as quick as he can.
Always interesting to observe the start line actually when you get two cars running. Ian Marshall basically let the first car do its burnout and held the second one. He knows how long the burnout process takes for each car, so the idea being is they get to the start line together. That's exactly how that's pretty much worked out. So the stripteaser machine from Sweden, Carl Carlson and Leif Anderson. Qualifying number 7.17793. Oh, what a shame, just dinks the wall there. A glancing blow, but everything okay. 7.21. Leif Anderson taking the win.
Well, Kai Carlson, that car launched properly really well for the first time all weekend long, but just carried the front wheels a little bit out of shape.
Yeah.
He just nudged the wall. I think we just might have to have a little bit of a sweep just to make sure there's no debris on the racetrack. I'm sure Kai's absolutely fine anyway.
Absolutely fine. It was, I think the slick took most of it, to be honest.
Yeah, however, the slicks are right next to him. But
true.
Yeah,
true.
There we go. Anyway, let's see what's coming round the back of the tower. Ladies and gentlemen, give the teams a big round of applause as they go out to get their drivers, please. That's Kai Carlson's team. He was absolutely trying his hardest that time. But, well, thank you very much indeed for coming all that way over to entertain us. And that's not quite the entertainment I know you wanted to give us.
but I'm sure everything's fine, and hopefully Kite and the car are fine. So we've got a little bit of sweeping to be done. I'm just going to have a quick wander and see who we got round the back of the tower, if that's all right with you.
Okay, into the pairing lanes. Can I have Oklahoma Willie? And we need a split second, the jet car as well. So those two, if you can make your way down into the pairing lanes, please.
Well, it is the Supercharged Outlaws that are next. However, everybody is strapped in and ready to go. So I don't think I'm going to have the opportunity to pester anyone, just for now anyway. But yeah, there won't be.
Okay, I'm over in the Supercharged Outlaw pits and I'm here with driver Paul Dale. As the cars go by as usual, they try and interrupt our videos, but we don't care. Now Paul, this weekend you've been running some good times with Supercharged Outlaws, big Larry burnouts. How's it been going so far?
Yeah, not too bad. We're just getting the grips with the track at the moment, doing a few adjustments with the car, trying to get it to go straight. But we're back in the low 9s now and we're hoping for an 8 this weekend, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get there again.
Nice. And obviously your team is looking for the best backup girl this weekend, so you want to give them a shout out?
Yes, yeah. Sean? Oh look, he's gone now. Yeah, we got a bloke dressed up as a woman just as a bit of a giggle, so hopefully we'll see what happens.
That's it. That's kind of a throwback to the 60s really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Men in dresses.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Cheers buddy.
Cheers, lovely, thanks a lot.
Okay, we continue then with the Supercharged Outlaws. Susie Q, Kirsten van Kronenberg. And she should be alongside Paul Dale, I think.
Oh, she is. Paul's actually just waiting in the burnout box. I think he's just doing a slightly more sedate burnout than the young lady from the Netherlands just did. I think Kirsten's one of those that's been to every Dragstouder as well. However, sometimes she was on backup duty, sometimes she was racer.
Not making this one, so Kirsten ran an 850 yesterday and guns an 850 today as well. Very consistent.
I did say Paul Dale was there, but unfortunately, I'm not sure where he's gone, actually.
Yeah, he's pushed back.
Ah, okay.
He's right behind the tower.
Okay, who's up next?
Coming around the corner is Simon Boot, I think he's head of the lanes.
By the looks of it, with Jimmy Usher, is that right?
Well, it's a slingshot hiding the other side. Yeah, Jimmy Usher, you're dead right. Couldn't quite tell who it was from it. Well, I can see with the front wheel.
Well, Jimmy's best is down in this car in the 83s. I think they're enjoying themselves again racing. I know Jimmy is definitely. So, front engine dragster taking on supercharged door car. I know it sounds a bit silly, but that car of Simon Boot does actually look fairly street legal. It's actually got street tyres on it as well.
Oh, I see.
Did you know that? I don't know if you can see that from up there, but he has got street tyres on. Definitely not street tyres for our good buddy Jim.
So Simon Boot at the moment is quickest, 9:42 with the Camaro. Jim Usher has been 8:33 this weekend with the slingshot. But Jim means business here. All the nines there for Jim, and 9:97 for Simon.
That was quite bizarre because that was very, very flat for Jimmy.
Yeah.
Now, I have to admit something. I did happen to mention that one of the better burnouts so far was by one of our Swedish visitors to Mr. Hadfield last night. I think you're about to see the result of telling him. Addy Hadfield just...
Oh, you love a burnout war, don't you?
I did tell him off track though. So Andy Hadfield with Twister rolls up to about 1,000 foot. And a friend from Sweden with a gorgeous Orchard in the coal-fire lane.
Andy Hadfield also would almost be better turning around and driving back to the start, trying to reverse all that way.
Well, it's an awful long way to reverse, to say the least.
So Peter Haraldsson, he's run 7:37 with the Altered. Second quickest in class this weekend.
Now, the run they had side by side yesterday was a great race up until there was a cough from Twister. And I went to see Andy last night and I said, what was the problem? And he said, nothing really. They just think that a bit of excess fuel got into it and it coughed because it was still running, and he drove it back to the pits absolutely fine. So if it all stays together, he's looking for a really good 7-second run at over, ideally, 180 miles an hour. .733 at 185 for the Altered Trouble again for Twister. 897, very flat by his own normal wayward standards off the start line for Andy, but they've still got another run later on today.
Well, Paddy Harrington just improved his run by 0.04 of a second, but getting very close to the wall on the left-hand side, but good driving job, kept him away.
It's an Altered, they get bored if they don't see some concrete or other cars or blocks or whatever. Paul Watts and Banzai in Merriweather.
Merriweather, storming burnout there for him.
Now the little Altered has been well into the 8s. So hopefully he can do it this time round as well. Best of 9:01 I think so far this weekend. Paul Watts as well has been a little off pace. He's normally around about 8.3s, 8.4s, something like that. But well, we'll see what he can do in this one as well. I've noticed that the Christmas tree has sprouted a webcam.
Yeah, I spotted that as well.
It's actually a period correct webcam though. Did you know that? They had those in the 70s.
Pass into the pairing lanes, please. The Willis Wars. Can we have you into the pairing lanes, please? The Willis Wars. Come on down, please. Let's have a look at these two then. Paul Watts, currently his quickest this weekend, 8.78. Ian Merriweather, 8.66, so only a tenth between them. Little Banzai Altered fractionally quicker this weekend, so far. Oh, and Ian, and an 8.82, 154. Right, Ian is going to restage. A little bit of a misbehaving child there. Gets down the track, 8.76, 169. After this, don't go anywhere, folks. We do have the Dragster to Cannonball, the third session. Pallant, great burnout. This will decide the final pairings as who races who for the final positions in the Dragster to Cannonball. That is the next class.
So they're around there at the moment, are they?
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
Very cool indeed.